Welcome to the webinar, Business Tools Transforming Your Business Process Smarter, Simpler and Agile. I'm currently working as a principal engineer as part of OpenEdge product group, and I'm also one of the engineers who is responsible for developing and testing of this OpenEdge BPM module. I have been associated with OpenEdge BPM right from its evolution, since 11th release onwards. So going forward, here is the agendas for today's session. So first of all, I'll be explaining about what business process management is. Later, I'll give overview of what OpenEdge BPM. As part of this, I'll be explaining about some of the key capabilities of OpenEdge BPM and core components that are involved. Once this is done, we can see different types of rules in OpenEdge BPM. And then I'll be explaining about the BRMS system, which is Business Rules Management System, which is used to write and manage rules. And then the necessity to integrate BRMS with BPM. Both are separate products, and this will be followed by overview of Corticon, which is one of the progress product, which is industry-leading rules engine. And then we can see how Corticon facilitates OpenEdge BPM and AVL applications. This I'll be showing in demo. This is what the agenda is for today's session. So let us proceed further to see what business process management is all about. So business process management, by definition, it says it's a process-centric approach for improving the business performance that combines information technology and governance methodologies. So let us proceed further to see what complete your business BPM is all about. In general, if you see that most of the business follows certain process, whether it could be a loan approval process, it could be student enrollment, or getting a new employee on board. For all of these things to get done, we have certain people are involved, certain processes are involved, and certain systems are involved. So with a traditional approach, when the business grows, process becomes chaotic. It becomes hard to manage. We lose sight of the things where they are, especially when they're typically hanging between two different departments. At the same time, we might duplicate one another's effort. So in order to resolve these problems, we need a BPM solution. So the best example, it would be like a loan approval application. Like most of us have went to bank or to apply for a loan, or we open the bank website and apply for a loan. So what we normally do is like we just sit before the computer and fill in the application form, or else we go to the bank and fill in the application form. This application becomes as an input for the loan application process. So once the bank receives this application, it performs the necessary verifications, including the credit check, and finally reaches on a decision to approve the loan or not. The output here would be the result, whether the loan should be approved or not, and the amount being paid to the loan applicant. Like it's a decision has been made at the end, like whether to give the loan or not, to approve the loan or not. So what BPM does is like it transforms the several inputs into a specific and meaningful, valuable output. This is what business process management is. So from Progress, we have a solution called OpenEdge BPM on top of OpenEdge Development Platform. So OpenEdge BPM combines the industry-leading BPM solution on top of OpenEdge Development Platform. It's a one installation process with a unified security platform that provides seamless integration of data to simplify the development and deployment of business process applications. Our BPM is an agile because with a simple drag and drop offering, it allows to create a custom applications to be the simple workflows by avoiding the costly repair cycles and reducing the costs in developing this process and bringing them to the market. OE BPM tool is a single tool for developers, business analysts, and managers, where it provides clear-cut visibility of what is happening within the process. It helps them to identify where the bottlenecks in the processes are and helps them to fix this process on the fly, and we can improve our business process. It also supports a continuous improvement. With OE BPM, we can extract out the process from your application code and can be replaced with flexible and configurable workflows. So this process includes the decision logic and the business logic also, with a simplified graphical modeling tool. Where it empowers the business analysts to easily modify the applications and then irrespective of software development life cycles. So it reduces the costs where we can empower business analysts to develop these processes. This is what OpenEdge BPM tool is all about. If we proceed further, This is what common in most of the business BPM tools, like it's a process cycle, which helps them to identify the continuous improvement. So it all starts with the modeling phase. So where the business analysts sit together, they keep a blueprint they define the blueprint for the process, how it should be on a graphical, like on a graphical modeling tool. And then once it is done, they hand it over to the technical people, where they implement the process. Once it gets implemented, then with the technical details, then it publishes it into the process. It is keeps on monitoring. At the service level being met or not. Perform the analysis information for the process. So once this is how the BPM process cycle looks like. Uh, let us proceed further. This is common across most of the BPM tools process cycle. Let us proceed further to see the key components of OpenEdge BPM. So normally we have a process modeler tool, we have the developer studio, business process server, and then BPM portal. So what process modeler tool is all about? It's one of the component that is basically used to business the complete business process on it. Like we keep a blueprint of the process and design the workflow for it. Normally the key targeted audience for this process modeler business analyst people, as I already mentioned, and we give this tool for free to try out this tool for free. And this modeler we can allow them to completely model the business process. So once we have a draft version of process, this can be imported or we can design it from scratch using Developer Studio. And we can implement the technical details of this developers of the business process. Like we can assign how many participants and some custom coding need to be done. We can do in the Developer Studio, and then we can publish it to the business process server Developer Studio. Uh, so. So this is what about Developer Studio is. Coming to Business Process Server, it's a server where we deploy the business process applications are. Normally, this business process server runs on top of JBoss Community Edition. If the customer want to go into production environment, they can make use of JBoss Enterprise Edition also. We support that facility also. Once the processes get deployed, we can interact with the business process from the BPM portal. This is where the deploy process gets live. We can create the instances for developed applications, deployed business process using the portal. Normally, the key targeted audience for this portal are like end managers who want to manage the management capabilities in a business, and also administrators like who want to keep control of the users in the tool who want to use the BPM tool. So this is what the key components of OpenEdge BPM. So let us proceed further to see some of the key capabilities of BPM. Like modeler, we can empower business analysts to develop the process and they can simulate the process in real time. At the same time, model, they can export them and they can import them into the process modeler. And the other tool is the Developer Studio. So in the Developer Studio, like we have a support for native data slots, which are of ABL type. Like as we migrated to OpenEdge, all of the data types are supporting the ABL language, like ABL supported data slots. Like we have primitives, pro data sets, and temp tables. For those who don't know what data slots are, like data slots are the variables which are used to exchange data between two different activities, two different work steps. And else you can also design a customized forms using your Developer Studio. If you want to give rich UI to your BPM user interface, then BPM activities, then you can make use of the formatter in the Developer Studio. Apart from this, we have a support for presentation type. This is one of the cool feature we have for OpenEdge BPM. Like as world moving towards the evolution of smart devices, like we are making use of smart devices with Telerik Mobile. Using our REST services protocol, people can access the business process which are developed using the Telerik mobile on the Telerik mobile interface like this. And then we have adapters, some core adapters in our BPM product. Like we have a SharePoint adapter, which if you want to communicate with them. If you want to access data documents which are in the SharePoint server, then using SharePoint adapter we can make use of it. And apart from that, we have a Corticon adapter. If you want to make your business process to communicate the rules that are deployed in the Corticon server, we have adapter for the same. In addition to this, we have several adapters like file adapter or else JMS adapter to send JMS messages, etc. This kind of things are there. This is the key capabilities of the Developer Studio. Coming to business process server, one of the key capabilities is like a clustering. So if you want to keep your server alive across all the time, we have a feature called clustering. And then the BPM events are there. These are sometimes the rules which once we model in the BPM server, they call as BPM events. Like these are native rules for BPM. We have an BPM events module in the BPM server which gets triggered when the particular rule gets executed. And then apart from this, as I mentioned, the portal, it's an interface where we create the instance and then complete and collaborate the instance. It's an interface where we can play around with the deployed BPM processes. And also we can generate reports for the active instances or the completed instances using the BPM portal. Recently we have got a web UI interface for the complete reports in the recent release version. And then we can also manage the users and the applications in the administration module in the BPM portal. And then this is a support for pro data sets and temp table visualization in the BPM portal. For this, we have integrated a Kendo UI grid from Telerik Kendo UI, and then we have integrated with our BPM portal, and then we can visualize the data which is there in the pro data sets and temp tables in the BPM portal. This pro data sets and temp tables are the in-memory data structures. It's a database concept technology we use. We can visualize them in our BPM portal also. So these are the key capabilities of OpenEdge BPM. And then proceeding further, just as a core architecture of our BPM product, like how it looks like. It's a studio interface, and then we have a servers kind of thing. We have portal server and EJB server. And whatever BPM process we deploy from the studio, it gets accessed through the web service layer. So through web service layer, we can our portal access this BPM processes, and then or else we can use a third-party application also to communicate with this deployed applications. And then we have event-driven rule engine. Please keep a point to be noted for this. I'll be speaking more about this rule engine and the rules which we develop in the BPM in the coming slides. So let us see what are the different types of rules in BPM. Normally they are decision-centric rules. The first one, these rules are very much passive in nature. This means like these rules gets triggered based on the data flowing within the processes. So basically, when this rule gets triggered, normally we define the rules in the decision step to control the BPM flow, not for the execution of the rules, but in order to control the BPM flow, these rules get defined there. So when the condition gets executed, then the action gets performed. We have a rule builder here in the BPM tool where we can model and define these rules. We can model the simple rules here, but we can also define the complex rules also using this rule builder, but they're hard to manage going further. So I'll be explaining I mean, I'll be explaining in future slides how we can extract out these rules from this process. So the other set of rules we have is an event-centric ones. These are the event-centric rules. Basically, we call them as principal rules. These rules are always active. We have a certain right. I mean, like whenever the event occurs, the condition gets executed, then the action gets performed. Once we deploy the server, these rules keep running in the server interface. Like so, based on the data that is coming, this rule gets triggered and the conditions gets executed, and then the respective actions gets performed. So the different types of principal rules we have in our OpenEdge BPM are categorized in the following sections. Like we have I mean, like these are the specific types. So coming to a scheduling rule, we have if you want to automatically schedule or defer the actions, we use this particular kind of scheduling rules. And then we have a rule called timeout rule. Like if the rule, I mean, like we use this particular rule if you want to find out the work step is completely not finished in the specific time or not, then we use this particular timeout rules in our BPM. Similarly, if you want to monitor your data that is flowing in the process and want to see the data, what is happening, and want to trigger action based on that, we have business metric rules where it keeps track of this data. Normally, these rules are basically used to trigger some actionable actions. So if you can see here, these are the specific actions. We can create them. Like if you want to, rule gets triggered, if you want to send an email, then this we can send out this action, or else if you want to change the priority of your work step and you intimate your manager, like or intimate your team member, then we can you can change the priority. At the same time, they are also used to modify certain data within your process when this particular rule gets triggered. So these are type of the rules which we can use in our BPM. Uh, in our BPM, yes. So I'll just proceed further. Proceed further to see why we should need a BRMS system, and what's the drawback we have with this inbuilt like so I mean, like how can we improve, make our business process agile by pulling out the rules from it and then introducing a BRMS system into it. So by keeping this, by making the rules within the process, are we not making the business process much more complex and more chaotic by writing out the complex rules? And then, I mean, like tomorrow, see, like if I need to make some changes into my rules, then what I need to do is I need to go back to my process, revisit my process, and then need to verify the decision logic, what is there. I need to make my process. I need to make my changes there. I need to republish my process. There are things like that. I might load my historical data, and also a lot of maintenance effort involved. So in order to overcome these things, what if it would be better like I can bring in BRMS system. Like this is where the BRMS system comes into the picture. Where we can extract out the decision logic from our processes, and then we can easily integrate with our system. Like if you can see here, you can see here, like I have my decision step where I have coded my decision, like what I'm just calculating my insurance premium, and this is a simple rule, and it's like I need to write a few lines of code to it. Imagine in a real-time environment, organizations will be having a complex rules within them, and they'll be writing a complex decision types, complex rules in it. So what if the change comes up tomorrow? Like it will be difficult for them to manage. So what if I bring out the decision logic from the process, and then just plugging out hooking a BRM system here, where it can be maintained independently. So this is how we can do that. I'll be showing more about this adapter in the demo. This is how we can. This brings a much more. This makes our process much more agile by hooking out the rules from our BPM process. So proceeding further, In general, normally if you have your application in place and which is developed in Java or in ABL language, or else you have business process is there, and you want to design the rules. Normally, what we normally do is like we get the specifications directly from our through business analysts, and then we design these. We put them together and make a blueprint of it, and then we code them and this involves a complete software development lifecycle. What if I hook a BRM system here? The specificationing, designing, coding, and testing, everything is combines under into the modeling phase. Like it's a tool which specifically handles these things. The BRM system is capable of doing it, where it reduces the development cycle almost by 90%, and then which makes where we can build high quality of business rules and high agile business rules also. So this reduces, this is our Corticon approach also. This is what the rule development lifecycle looks like. So let us see like where we have a BRMS product from Progress, which is Corticon. It's a rule development engine where we can easily automate the business rules in using Corticon. So with the zero coding effort, like it has an Excel sheet of kind of interface where we can simply model our rules with a simple drag and drop. Where we can empower business analysts also to develop the rules. This is where we doesn't need any developers in place, where we can empower business analyst people or business domain knowledge people can make use of this tool. As I mentioned, it enables both IT and like business analysts to add the rules and also to change the rules also. At the same time, using Corticon, we not only model and analyze the rules, but we can also test these rules. Corticon has gotten powerful integrity check options, where it provides a 360 degrees coverage of our rules, like how, if there are any loopholes in our rules, then it clearly identifies them and allows, lets us know, like this is a particular place where there's some certain negative test cases you rules might break. So please take care of these things. These kind of scenarios we can see using the Corticon. That's where the integrity check option is there. And also it checks the rule conflicts also, like if there are any incomplete rules and or of any faulty syntax, it clearly identifies them. Apart from that, whatever in Corticon, like whatever rules we model, we can directly publish them as a web services, like where we can easily integrate. It can easily integrate with the application that are developed in Java, ABL, or any .NET applications also. The rule engine that is developed in Corticon, as it is exposed as a web service, so whatever application we have developed in .NET or ABL or Java, we can easily consume these decision services across we can consume which is published outside. So when a decision service in Corticon gets executed, we expect it to get executed faster without any system lag. Mostly when more and more rules are being added here. So Corticon is capable of delivering a millisecond response time, and it can scale up to millions of transactions a day. So this is what the core capabilities of Corticon. I'll proceed further to explain about the architecture of Corticon. What it is basically consists of. It all starts with an basically we need to write a vocabulary in Corticon. It's a building block for writing a rule. Normally, vocabulary consists of domains, entities, and attributes. Basically, entities are referred as if you relate to database terminology, they referred as tables, and attributes are referred as entities are referred to tables, where attributes are referred as fields inside the databases. So once we have vocabulary in place, we can write the rule sheets for the Corticon, like by defining the conditions and and define the filters and what actions need to be performed, and what is the message we should show when this particular rule sheet gets executed, when this rule gets executed. So like this, we can have n number of rule sheets modeled based on the vocabulary, and once we have rule sheets in place, we design a rule flow out of it, like how a rule should flow, how the process. It's a simple drag and drop. We can model a rule flow. And then we can deploy this this rule flow into a Corticon server where it is exposed as a decision service, and we can create multiple versions of decision service. Like so, tomorrow, like if a new change is coming up, if you want to modify the rule, you can modify the existing rule. You can create a new version of the rules in it. You can name it a separate version, which can be easily accessible through other external systems. So this is where the core capabilities of Kotlin and the Kotlin architecture looks like. So with this, I'll be stopping here, and then I'll be showing you about how we can integrate the OpenEdge BPM with Corticon, like how how we can, a business process can communicate with this BRMS system. Like what are steps that need to follow in integrating a BPM system with a Corticon. Basically, it all starts with defining the data slots in BPM. So as I mentioned, like data slots are referred as variables which are used to exchange data between two different activities or work steps. Normally we support primitive types, pro data sets, temp tables, kind of data slots in OpenEdge BPM. Once we have these data slots defined, we need to generate a schema out of it, which Corticon system which Corticon understands. That is a business rules vocabulary definition. So using our BPM Studio, we create a BRVD file out of it, which is consumed by Corticon. Once we are done with the BRVD file, then the Corticon developer comes into the picture, where they consume this BRVD file and then they create a vocabulary out of it. As I already mentioned in my previous slide, it needs to create a vocabulary. And then they need to make a rule sheets out of it, and then they define a rule flow in Corticon Studio. Once this rule flow is defined, we deploy it in the Corticon server, where it is publicly available as a web service. So again, we come back to the BPM part. As we have model of business process, we need a certain mechanism to access this deployed decision service in Corticon. So we have a Corticon adapter developed here, which connects to the Corticon decision service and then executes its rules from which is deployed in the Corticon server. And then once we deploy the BPM process, and then we invoke this decision service from the BPM portal. So this is how, on a high level, this integration looks like. I'll be going to show you the demo of it using the BPM and Corticon. So we have modeled a basic insurance sample for this webinar.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There is actually a question, and I think because you've covered two technologies very quickly, one after the other, there may be still a confusion between what are the two different things. So maybe before you start with the demonstration, you want to again just wrap up and say, or consolidate whatever you've said and differentiate the two things that you've talked about, and if there is any dependency of one on the other.
Sure. So the question is, if I understand correctly, Corticon allows to represent a business workflow as a pictorial diagram, which is an executable business process representation? No. Basically, Corticon is used to model business rules in a pictorial representation, not the business workflow. The business workflow is done by BPM tool. So basically, we model whatever business we have. We model it in we draft it as a process here. Like if you have a loan application, take example of loan application, or take a claim application here, like in my sample here. If I'm making a claim, and then I'm just drafting it in as a process here. Whereas the claim validation depends upon the rules. It is basically calculated what is the amount I need to give. The insurance companies need to check whether the person is making a valid claim or not. If it is a valid claim, like how much premium, how much claim amount should I give to him? All these constraints are designed in the BRMS system, which is in Corticon. So that's where the Corticon comes into picture. Whereas the BPM used to exchange data between the workflows. That's it. Hope this answers the question. So I'll just quickly proceed further to explain about the demo sample which we have here. So basically, if you can see here, we have made an insurance claim form, vehicle insurance process here, where we give a policy ID from the BPM tool, and then where it is going to fetch a record database, and then it is going to show up the records, and then the claim here you can see here as the claim is being calculated here, and then I'll show the conditions for calculation of the claim here, and then we can show you how at the end what claim amount we have got. So basically it's an integrated this is a Progress Developer Studio where we can model your business rules. If you want to make use of your business process, that this can be done using a simple drag and drop where just simply you can here you can simply model your business process. You can represent your workflows here, and then and we can define the data slots, whatever I was mentioning here, or the values using the BPM tool here. If you want to create a data slot of character type, this can be done here. And then, as I already mentioned, like Corticon understands data which is in BPM in the form of BRVD file. So from I have a data record in place which Corticon should consume. Like, so we export it as a BRVD file. Normally we do it here, and as a table type data. I just exported it here. So this is how the data looks like. So what I'm going to do is whatever data that record that BPM is being consumed, it happens to this particular record, like where I have a policy ID defined and the claim value which I make, claim values are there, which is these are data which is being existing in the database, and then these are the basically there are types of data. So this particular data is exported as the schema is exported as a BRVD file here, you can see. And then what happens once we are done with the BRVD, Corticon developer comes into the picture, where they write and they model these rules in Corticon. So I'll just open this Corticon project. So basically in Corticon, like what I have done is like I'm calculating a premium based on the premium. Once the premium is calculated based on the location, I'm also calculating one of the rule. If like once I've got to see, I'll show you my rule here, like how it is being calculated. So in this vehicle insurance, I have defined a rule here. It is with a simple drag and drop, you can define the rules in Corticon. Like we have vocabulary in place. Once we have the BRVD file, we can create an rule vocabulary out of it. With a simple drag and drop, we can just define the rules, and then what are the rule operators that need to be done, we add them here. Like what are the functions that need to be done, we can simply drag and drop, we can do them. So for my insurance sample, like if I'm making it after paying the premium, it's a gap between 1 month, then I'll be getting a 90% of the claim amount which I'm making. If there's a 2 months gap, I'll be getting about 80%. Of it is greater than 3 months, then my rule is being rejected. So once I calculated my premium, and then I'll be calculating the location wise. Like if I'm making a claim from Virginia, I'll be getting about 100% of my claim amount. Or else if it is outside Virginia, like I'll be getting only 80%. And then I'll define a rule with a time rule, which is if my vehicle is registered after 2010, then I'll be getting 100% of the claim. And then if it is less than 2010, then I'll be getting on 60% of the claim value. So this is how my business process is. And then what I've done is like once I have rule defined, once I have my rule, I need to publish this into the Corticon server, where I mentioned it is publicly available. So normally we do it is in the publish wizard. I publish this rule. I have my Corticon server running up. So just publishing this rule. So once this rule gets is published, I can consume this rule from anywhere. Like either it could be from a Java application or a BPM application or any other application. So coming back to the So it has been successfully published. So if you can see in my insurance sample, I'll just show in the portal what are steps I'm doing now. I have already deployed my BPM process into our BPM server for this demo. What I normally do is, like, this is a BPM portal. This is a place where we access our BPM process, deployed BPM process. These are the tabs which I'm mentioning about, like home tab as a management used by management people, and then administration tab basically used by the administrators. So whatever application I have deployed, it is in the application section. I'm just making a claim for my insurance, creating an instance for it. So it's a mandatory step we need to do for every deploy process. So you can see here in the my instance section, like you can see how my application looks like currently. So my deployed process. So currently the claim form state has been activated. So I'll just switch back to here. I'm just making a claim now by specifying the policy ID. If you can see here, I'm just using my claim ID as my policy ID. So I just use this poly ID 1 as my claim ID to make a claim. And then just complete this work step. So what happens is, like, I'll be seeing this record, fetch the record from the DB based on the claim. So if you can see here, this particular record has been fetched. And then the claim status, and then the what is the amount claim is still pending, because it is still we need to execute our Corticon rules. So if you go back to my instance section here, you can clearly see where our particular process is being resided. Particularly, we are in the show record phase, and the claim validation is yet to happen. This is one of the Kendo UI grid which I was speaking about previously. We have integrated in our BPM portal. It's a Telric Kendo UI. And just completing this action. So now what should happen is, like, my Corticon server claim should get executed, and I should be seeing the status of my claim. So I'll be seeing the 10% has been deducted from my account because my vehicle registered. There's a last premium date and current premium date has a 1 month mismatch. So 90% of the claim I was able to get it. So this is where the Corticon Decision Service got executed and published this particular result, and it says that my status is in accepted state. So this is how we can see how my process got executed. So this is simple little bit animation available for us here, like so what in initial we did a claim, and then we fetched the records, and then the Corticon Decision Service got executed, and then we are seeing this particular claim here. This is what what we have done is, like, we have extracted out the decision logic from our process, and we are maintaining it in a separate system which is in Corticon. So tomorrow, like, a new change comes up, a new requirement comes up to change the rules. Like, for example, at the time of calculation of premium, it says, like, I want to give the 95% of the claim. Here it was 90% of the claim, so I want to make this as a 95% of the claim here. When I want to do this, I need not to completely change my business process here. I need to change my business decision logic itself. Like, I can publish this again. So that independent of changing of the BPM process, the decision logic has been separately handled, which we are making our process, our business process much more agile here. So this is being changed here. So when I go back here, I'm not at all deploying the business process. So I'm using the same BPM tool. If you can actually see here, currently we got a claim amount as $90,000 here. So when I go back again and make a claim, you should be seeing this different result here. First, go to the application. I create a new instance of it. I'll just keep it as modified. So I just for the same record I'm calculating. So the record is being, so we are ready to calculate this both. So if you can see here, we got this particular result is as 95,000. So I just made a simple change to my addition logic. That's it. I mean, like a business addition logic, and then change it is as it is maintained a separate system. We are seeing these things, and with less maintainability effort, we can do these things using by integrating business process with Corticon. So apart from this, if you have your either your application logic which is defined in ABL or in any other programming language, like normally we define our rules with complex rules with simple if-else statements. Like these are all the things we do to modify the simple. Whatever the rules I have designed in Corticon, here if I put it onto the coding part, this is how the rules looks like normally by writing the simple if-else. Imagine like if you are going further, like if you want to change these things when a new change comes up, it's a bit a chaotic effort, right? I mean, like it involves lots of time to change these rules, and then it is lots of maintainability effort is involved. This is how we can leverage the maintainability effort in a business process or on an application system by hooking out the decision logic from our process logic. So going back to your presentation here, this ends the demo for this thing. And then I just quickly go through what are the steps what I have done here, like while integrating the OpenEdge BPM with Corticon. Define the data slots, and then we did a BRVD export of it, and then in Corticon interface where we can define the rules with a simple drag and drop. And then once this is done, we deploy it on Corticon server. We just communicate with it with a Corticon adapter and BPM, and then we invoke the decision service from the BPM portal. This is how it looks like. So what are the advantages of combining this BPM with BRMS? One thing is we are making our business process much more agile, and we are making it as simple by extracting out the decision logic from it. And we are also having a cost saving here. There's no need of developers to write these rules now. A person with an business domain knowledge can model these rules using Corticon Engine. And then we can use these rules across our different processes or different applications. We can connect to these rules also. These are the basic advantages of combining a BPM system with a BLMS. So, and then coming to this supported versions for this integration, like OpenEdge and Corticon are supporting since 11th release onwards, whereas with OpenEdge BPM, we are supporting with 11th release. And then this ends my session here. Hope you guys have a good understanding of it. So any questions? I'm ready. I'm open for questions.